All right. Today we have a sub-2 deal in Atlanta. 2363 Cross Street, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30318. Four bed, two bath, 1575. Recently feedback, some roof leaks, and need to finish the flooring. Okay. Need roughly 30 to 45 grand repairs. ERV is 380. The existing mortgage balance is 241,526. Let me just start plugging these numbers in. 241,526. What else do we have here? Your PITI is 2016.79. So let's go 2016.79. I'm going to subtract that by the principal and the interest back into that piece. Cash to sell is 5 grand. Cash flows, so there's no secondary loan here. I'm gonna zero that out. Cash 15,200 in arrears. Cash to sell is 5,000. I got 2.5% for closing costs on this deal. Cash flows 36,200. So there's probably going to be an assignment here. 36,200. Subtract the cash to seller, subtract the arrears. So $16,000 assignment fee for this deal is what I'm interpreting this as. All right. ARV. So I'm just going to do equals the purchase price equals that plus that plus that plus oops, 6. There we go. All right. Just making up the numbers there. Arrears 15,200. All right, so that's it. So the next thing I want to do is I want to do a quick drive by after I look at the conditions. Flooring looks okay. Okay, this is the flooring that they were talking about that you had to finish. You probably got not sure what the condition of the subfloor is, but I'm assuming that entire area needs new flooring. So not the entire house. So I'm gonna assume one room, 2 rooms, 3 rooms need updated flooring. The rest of the property looks okay. So I'm going to assume about 75% of the house, probably 50% needs new flooring. I'm going to do 75% just to be safe on that end. So I'm going to do 1575 of the flooring. 1575 times 0.75. I'm going to repaint the entire place at 1575 square feet at $3 a square foot. Some money for landscaping, some roof repairs. I'm gonna put in at least $3,000 for repair. If they're already disclosing it, I'm assuming there's some more issue there. No repainting needed for that. No bathroom remodels needed. I'll replace one of the toilets. Actually, I'll replace both the toilets with some high pressure flush toilets. I'm not adding any bedrooms. Assuming the water heat is all good. Some money for termites. So they're saying 35. I only have 23,000. So I'm underestimating rehab. So let me just go bump up my roof repair so I get to that 30 grand rehab that they were talking about. So now I'm at about 30 grand. Okay. Good enough. It's saying purchase price is 232. Right now it's listed for 232. You can see why the seller is selling on subto. They're listing their property at 232 when their loan balance is $241,000. So the property has gone down in terms of value. Okay. Let me do a quick street drive by and so I can understand this area a little bit better. What kind of neighborhood is this? It looks pretty much, it's kind of suburban. It's a dead end. Okay. All right. Where are we in terms of Atlanta? This is Northwest Atlanta, Center Hill. Okay. Let me go check really quick the crime score in this area. Neighborhood crime score right here is 130, so a little bit high. So I'm gonna have to ask some local realtors about this property, but let me go underwrite the deal. So this property is in Fulton County. And if you were to look up Fulton County, I just looked up the Housing Authority of Fulton County. I went to property owner section, and then right here is where you will see Housing Authority of Fulton County payment standards for 2023 to 2024, and then the 2024 utility allowances. So what we typically do, right, is we go to HUD FMR and we look at the maximum rent. Sometimes you want a little bit more accuracy. I just either type in the county or the city's housing authority and see where I can quickly look at any sort of payment standards, because that's usually the more accurate number. Because sometimes you have folks that will just adjust up and downwards. And because Atlanta is it's a market that I'm really interested in, I decided to just do the extra research. Could you go to HUD FMR and do it first to rule out the deal? Absolutely. I'm just doing this a little bit differently because it's a market I'm really interested in. And I know Fulton County includes certain parts of Atlanta. All right. So when we click on the payment standards for 2023 to 2024, you will see how it lists out by zip code at the same time what the payment standards are. Now, this property zip code is 30318. 30, let's see if they have 30318. Do they have that here? They don't have that. So let's see. Where would they locate this number? So if I can't find it here, then I need to assume that I need to go to HUD FMR, because for some reason it's not listed in here, even though this is definitely the county that they're covering. Let's see if it's in here. 30318, 30. That was the old one. Whoops. No, I don't see anything. Don't have 3 zip codes here. I'm looking at ranges. So for a 4-bedroom, you see that these Atlanta zip codes is 2450, 2490, and 2060. That's a pretty big difference right there. All right. If I can't find it right here, even though this is the county, I will go to HUD FMR. Let me see what the numbers are look like here. Whoops. Go to small area FMRs, FY 2024 FMRs, Georgia, and I'm going to compare what I just saw there. Fulton County. 30318. Boom. The 4-bedroom rent is 2830. 2830, 30318. 2830. 30318. That's what I saw, right? Confirm 30318. All right. Now let me compare another one number on this spreadsheet, see if they made any adjustments. So if I see that Atlanta for 30336, do I see that in HUD FMR? 30336, 2490 is that number for 30336. 30336, 30336. Okay, so good to know. So it seems like the housing authority payment standards is exactly the same as the HUD small area FMR for 2023 or 2024. Okay, great. So now I know, based on this definition here, payment standards are used to calculate the maximum subsidy that the housing authority of Fulton County would pay toward rent and utilities. So now I know that this number that I'm seeing on HUD FMR website of 2490, this includes utilities. So if I do not pay for utilities, I would open up the utility allowance schedule and deduct the amount here. So if I have natural gas for heating in this 4-bedroom home and I'm not providing the gas because maybe I'm afraid that the person will just turn the heat but then open up the windows, and that could lead to a lot of utility expenses, well, that might not be in my best interest as a landlord to do that. So if I do that, if I don't provide natural heating, I have to deduct $45 from the number of 2830, which is the rent. Okay. So let me just type down something 2030, and this is the payment standards, including utilities. So let me type in what I need to do. So the next thing I want to do is, okay, well, let me get the market rents first before I start anything. So I go to market rents. What am I seeing for 4-bedroom properties in this area that are renting out in this area? 1868. Okay, well, if that's the market rent at 1868, maybe that's already enough for me to account for all the utilities that I was going to deduct, right? From the maximum ceiling, because I'm assuming that this is the rent I'm able to charge, and then I'll just have the resident cover it. So this actually saved me some work because I don't need to back into all the numbers. If this If this number for market rent was 2,400, I might say, okay, well, if I'm not including utilities, I need to start backing off. But if I charge my rent below, well below what the ceiling is, which is 2,830, almost $1,000 difference, right? That's huge. That's crazy. Yeah, that's really big. Well, if I charge 1,868, let's just call it 1,900. Let me see about cash flow. Because again, what our goal here is to figure out whether or not it's even worth our time to analyze the deal. So if I get, let's just say 1,900 bucks for this property, assuming I renovate a little bit nicely, let's see if I can even cash flow. My renovation is 28 grand right now. My property taxes and insurance is going to equals that, subtract the principal interest, which we already punched in. We have the insurance number of 35 bucks additional. We're not putting any HOAs and utilities on this property. We got 10% for our maintenance. We got 8% for property management. 8%. I got 3%, but up to 5% for vacancy because this is a higher crime area. So I'm gonna have to assume there's going to be a little bit more turnover here. Assuming that this is all corrected, my property right now is going to be negative $600 cash flow. Assuming it follows the sub 2 terms. And how I got that was I didn't even punch in some of the details there. $3.75% doesn't matter what it is because I backed into the payment. But you can see that this is not cash flow at 600 bucks a month. Why? Because the rent here is too low. Now, if you were able to get 2830, this is the rent ceiling, right? Assuming you cover utilities and everything, you need to deduct something for utilities. There's no way your utility expense is only going to be 127 bucks. So even you got the best case scenario, that this deal still wouldn't work because there's a test called the rent reasonableness test. And they're going to look at comparable rents for similar properties on the MLS that's been rented out recently and see what they've been renting out for to an unsubsidized tenant. And they're going to see that as 1,900. So there's no way that they're going to allow you to charge 2,830. Just no way. So unfortunately, even though this is a market that I'm really interested in, this is just not a cash flowing deal. You do something else with it, maybe, but just remember crime scores are right there. Maybe you're a little bit closer to a hospital. I didn't even check that earlier, but that's something for you to decide on your own. All we did here, just to kind of quickly recap, was we had a deal. We looked at the deal. We quickly looked at the street view. We understood what the crime score looked like. We punched in the details onto our spreadsheet from asking price, monthly income rents. We backed into what the property tax and insurance number is currently by subtracting out the principal and interest calculations using the sub 2 loan details that we were disclosed. We put in the property taxes. We put in the insurance number. We had 10% for maintenance, 8% for property management, 5% for vacancy. And that resulted in this deal being a total of a negative 10% cash on cash return because you're negative 588 cash flow a month. To me, this is not a deal because it just doesn't work. It's not even a question of the assignment fee being too high, but as a cash flow and long-term rental for affordable housing purposes, that would make this not a deal. Even though it has a great interest rate, maybe you want some depreciation, but that's not my strategy right now. And again, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments here. I'm simply showing you the work that I'm doing every single day because part of the deal is for you to learn how to underwrite deals if you want to invest in real estate. I just heard a story of how some people have gotten burned by not estimating the holding cost right, underestimating how long projects take, especially when it comes to renovations or new construction or developments or building from the ground up or getting permits. You have to always assume that everything takes longer than expected because that's usually how it goes. And if you don't budget adequately, you might be putting yourself in a really bad position that you should not be in the first place. So please underwrite really carefully. The reason I do this every single day is so that we can get practice together. I'm not saying I'm the only person that knows how to underwrite deals, but I know that sometimes folks just struggle to figure out how to get started. And what I'm offering today is for you to have the opportunity to put another dot on your piece of paper so that you can connect the dots. I'm sure we've all played connected dots before. And if you imagine that every single day you analyze a deal or you learn a new skill set or you meet a new relationship or you You call up an old friend. That's a new dot. And eventually, sometimes these dots connect to one another in ways that you would never imagine. And that's what we're doing every single day by practicing how to underwrite, practicing how to analyze deals. And we're doing it together. So we don't have to feel alone. We don't have to feel scared because this is part of the job. This is part of the work. And please stay consistent with me. This is day almost 160, I believe. You can double check my numbers, but either 159 or 160, I'll double check my numbers. But that's what consistency means. Once you develop this habit, you just keep going. I never thought I'd be analyzing deals live every single day, talking out loud and just doing the deals, but this now become a habit. And once you program your brain to unconsciously execute on what you promised yourself you would do by turning it into a habit, that will make your life so much easier. So, all right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all your contributions to the affordable housing and real estate investing community. I really value how much you guys care about affordable housing. Because seriously, without folks like you, I would have never had the home I grew up in. So thank you so much for all your help. Thanks for being part of the community. I'll be